What's up, everybody? Hopefully my audio is halfway decent. I just wasted 20 minutes of my life trying to reconnect this thing. This is like 8 years old, so it's kind of my fault. Just need to buy a new one. I got a breakdown today on a new strategy we've been testing over the past couple months within creator and influencer marketing within TikTok Shop as a primary activation. But there's some principles here that can kind of apply everywhere. So we'll see it. Because we're going in work mode, I'm switching the hat around. So I'm going to break this down, and I'm calling this the athlete strategy. For right now, lack of a better term, I'm sure someone will one day come up with something better. There's not anyone I know doing this at this level, though. So we're going to break it down. I got this as a YouTube video podcast. I'm sure we'll clip it. So what is this athlete strategy? I want you to think about any sport that you grew up playing, and ideally the one you were absolutely best at. So for me, basketball was my thing. I played on AAU teams. I played all the time growing up. I had the headband. I was decked. We can get into my play style later, but basketball was my thing, and I was really good at basketball. Played basketball all the time. Had a kind of a half court somewhat in our driveway. We painted the 3-point line. Just played all the time. AAU tournaments, you name it. And think I was pretty good. Now, that said, an athlete, a professional athlete in a different sport, let's take Kansas City icon Patrick Mahomes. If he played me in basketball, he's probably spent 1/100th of the time playing basketball that I have in my life, maybe less actually, just given he's probably spending a lot more time playing football and also baseball, by the way, which he got drafted professionally for. If Patrick Mahomes played me one-on-one or in any context in basketball, he would kick my ass in basketball. And I play all the time. And there's a lot of other guys who are great at basketball who, outside of guys probably in the NBA and maybe a couple leagues in Europe, he could probably beat the shit out of in basketball. He's going to be that much better. So why is that? Because he is an athlete. It does not matter what sport. He is an athlete, and athletes are great at everything. I've got a funny story. Growing up, I was in junior golf. There's a golf course right next to us. I'm making it sound like I grew up in this like super fancy area, but there's a golf course right next to us. And we went golfing one time with my buddy who now actually plays professional basketball in Germany and was at one point in the G League for a couple of years as well. Great guy. And we go out and play golf. Kids never played golf before. By the way, he's also left-handed, in everything. And we didn't have lefty clubs, so he had to use righty club. So he's using his offhand too. Go to the driving range, warm up for 30 minutes, whatever, go play golf. After about the third or fourth hole, dude was just smoking it. And we're in junior golf. We weren't that good at the time. But here's this kid who has never played golf before whatsoever, kicking our ass in golf, a sport he has never played that we have been literally training at all summer by the guys at the club, whatever, that kind of help you out in junior golf, by the golf pros. And here's this kid just rolling in, kicking our ass in golf. And so for you, I want you to think about, name any sport. Let's say tennis, for example. Tennis. You could be amazing at tennis. Maybe you played semi-professionally. I can promise you this. At the peak of your career, any professional basketball player right now could kick the shit out of you in tennis. Think about LeBron James, 41, 42 years old. If he wanted to beat you in tennis, maybe he's picked up a tennis racket 10 times in his life. Why would he waste his time playing tennis? He could destroy you in tennis. And back to the golf analogy, by the way, Steph Curry, amazing basketball player, right? He's like an even handicap or 0 or whatever you call that. So really great at basketball, also better than you will ever be at golf, just playing for fun in his free time. Probably better than some guys on tour. So I say that analogy to say this. In sports, in athletics, we just know this to be true, that some people, they are just athletes. And if they are a professional athlete of any kind in any sport, they will be able to kick your ass at your sport for 99.9% of all people out there. And is it because they're better at that sport than you? No. It's because they're just a better athlete. They're more physically gifted, they're faster, they're stronger, they have better hand-eye coordination, and that translates to anything. So I'm going to connect this now into our strategy, but I want you to think about now how we look at creator and influencer marketing. So if I'm working with, say, I have green tea right here. If I'm working with a green tea brand, what comes to mind when you think about what creators you should be working with? Okay, maybe some artists, guys and gals that paint, that are into the chakra stuff, maybe some health nuts that really talk about how you should quit coffee. It has way too much caffeine. Green tea is loaded with antioxidants and other things. It's a lot better for you. It's a lot more natural. There's probably a lot of holistic health creators who would be a great fit to promote green tea, a little bit more Eastern medicine. You know, tea kind of gives more Eastern vibes, right? Like what intuitively makes sense in terms of your customer demographics will then connect to what creator demographics you're going after. And so that's the traditional way to look at things. And I still think that's also the right way to look at things. That is the book. And as someone that's been working in creator and influencer marketing at the highest of high levels for quite some time, that's still what comes like intuitive to me. And I still think there's a role for that, by the way. Now, all that to say this, those folks I would consider, let's call them specialists. So they have a specific market, they have a demographic that they reach, and they're great at, hey, I'm a holistic health creator, I'm all about Eastern medicine, that's my main content flow. Okay, you're gonna be great for any green tea brand, any alternative medicine, like that's gonna be a natural fit there. Here's a mom who quit drinking, she quit caffeine, she's dedicated to more of like less a dopaminergic or whatever you call that, like dopamine lifestyle, and is trying to like chill her adrenals now that she's had 2 or 3 kids. It's gonna be great for a green tea brand and a whole host of other products. Like those are things that make sense, right? But in this platform of TikTok Shop, while we do see that, we also see the opposite be true. People who are great at TikTok Shop are better at promoting green tea, even though they fit and have nothing to do with green tea. They are better at promoting it, not because they're experts on green tea or that's what they have great knowledge of Eastern medicine, the history and origins of green tea, wherever the hell it comes from. That's not why they're great. They're great because they're great at TikTok Shop. They are great athletes. So it is athletes versus specialists. And when you go look at the top creators on the platform, the top 1,000, as well as the top creators for the top brands, you'll notice something. For electrolyte brands, it isn't actual doctors or clinicians or experts in health that are the best at promoting electrolyte brands. It is people who are really great at TikTok Shop. And it isn't the girlies who are the most fashionable and fashionistas, and they live in Brooklyn, and they're all about that, or the West Village or whatever, and they're all about that lifestyle, and they went to FITM, the Fashion Institute College or whatever. No, it is girls who can wear that stuff, they can dabble in that stuff, who are great at TikTok Shop. And so what you're seeing is this divergence of these two lanes of the traditional way of specialists, creators who are known for a thing and it fits with this brand and this product and they're going to promote that, and athletes. And by and large, people who are athletes, just people great at selling on TikTok Shop, they are right now kicking the shit out of specialists. And by the way, this is 0.01% of all creators. This is 99.99%. And this is generating equal, if not more revenue than the creators who are specialists. So that's what we're seeing happen platform-wise. Now I want to talk about what we're doing exactly. And a lot of this connects with what we're doing with sugar. So another sport analogy, and I apologize, I'm railing on these analogies, but it's going to add context to make you think about this. And I should add that I was very hesitant against this move that we've now been testing for a little bit. And I've been very anti bring on creators with the most historical GMV, have the best average, have the best GPM. I've been very anti that because even though I'm young, like I've seen this before. I know specialists and micro influencers and targeting, like specification, that's better. Specialists, that's what has worked historically. So I've been very anti this because I don't like the whole shilling thing. But that said, the data is the data is the data. This is outperforming this. And so I'm having to challenge myself through this. So I'm talking you through all these analogies because it's what I'm going through to think about it differently so I can understand it. Because if you're not thinking about it differently, you're not going to unlock a new strategy and mechanism. And you don't want to just follow something blindly. You want to truly understand it at its core. So there's a movie called Moneyball. It's got Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill in it. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's probably Brad Pitt at his best, other than Fight Club, of course. Shout out to Brad Pitt, Missouri University, Missouri guy. What that movie's about, and that's a real story, is this baseball GM for the A's at the time. I think they were still the Oakland Athletics at this point, although they've moved around everywhere. And his name was Billy Beane. And the Oakland A's were this team that didn't have a lot of budget. It was like lowest in baseball. And they had these great players on the team, Jason Giambi, something Damon, I forget his name, he's an outfielder. And all those guys went and then signed with the Yankees. There were a couple other guys as well because the A's couldn't afford to sign those guys after they had crushed. And so they thought about how do we replace those players or how do we go and get creators? And Brad Pitt in the movie, Billy Beane, comes across this little talent scout who just looks at the game differently. He's a nerd. He has an economics degree from Yale. And he has this theory that everyone looks at baseball wrong. Everyone looks at baseball in terms of talent, their bat speed, the arch in which it comes off. What does it look like? For a pitcher, just what's his command? What's his presence on the mound? For a fielder, how comfortable is he? How smooth does it look sweeping that ground ball off and firing it from shortstop into first base? All of these qualitative components, that is the exact same way we look at influencers. We look at aesthetic, we look at vibe, we look at specialty. What is the sound of the ball when it cracks off their bat? Those are some of those things. And he roots everything into a data model. And it's all about on-base percentage. And reverse engineering runs, which you need a certain amount of runs over the entire course of the season, 162 games. Here's a number of runs, forget what it is, like 800 and 900. If we score this many runs and we allow this many runs, I think it's at like 700, we will win this many games. And so it's very data. And that's the one thing I will say that I love about the sport of baseball, even though I really don't watch it anymore, is because it's 162 games, it's so much data. It's so data driven. And so Billy Beane's this wacko. Everyone thinks he's crazy because he starts ignoring all of these other considerations that were always the case for why you should or shouldn't sign a player. And he just says like, yes, but he gets on base. But he gets on base. And there's that specific scene with him and his talent scouts, and he starts pointing to Jonah Hill. And it's like, why are we going to sign him? Because he gets on base. Because he gets on base. Because he gets on base. Oh, but he's old. Oh, but his shoulder. Oh, but this. He gets on base. And they try to replace those players in the aggregate based on their on-base percentage. And it does incredibly well. I think they set an AL record for the most wins in a row, something like 26, I want to say. Team does great. They end up flaming out in the playoffs because, again, data works up until you get down to like 2 or 3 games. Then you don't have as large of a data set. But it works incredibly well. Billy Beane then never wins a championship with the A's because the A's ownership is absolutely horrible. They're now playing at like a high school field in Sacramento, literally, by the way. Billy Beane then goes to the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs win the World Series in, I think, 2016, 2017, right after the Royals. And that was the Cubs' first World Series in like 106 years or something, applying that exact same strategy. So very data driven, meticulous, but asking the question of, we're playing a sport, we're trying to win games. What is the way in which you score? You get runs. How do you get runs? You get on base. That's it. You get on base, you score more runs. Apply that now to this lane of marketing and creators and TikTok Shop. How do you build a big brand on TikTok Shop? You sell shit. You make revenue. Okay? How do you do that? Creators promote your products and get sales. They then allow you to run those videos and ads, and you scale them. It is that simple. We could talk about large scale affiliate creator strategies, how to drive up CTR, how to increase ROAS, running branded live streams to cross promote, little flash sale gimmicks you can run, bundling strategy, merchandising strategy, all of which I've talked about in length. But at the end of the day, you need creators to promote your products and to get sales. That is how you build a brand. And so when I think about how do I build a team, because for all of our brands, as we think about creator and affiliate marketing, we prioritize so much retention, truly partnering with creators. Our philosophy has been the traditional one and the one that has served us very well. Specialists. Hey, we're working with a green tea brand. Let's break this out into 3 target markets. Let's do moms that want a quick coffee. Let's do these holistic health people over here. And let's do, athletes or something. And they're going to connect it to whatever. And no, I shouldn't say athletes because that's the other connected analogy. Let's do with like people in fitness. Let's just say fitness, right? No more energy drinks. Let's stick with the green tea. Okay, I'm going to go find people in those expertise, yada, yada, yada. They're going to tailor their content message into those lanes and into that audience, and that's how we're going to run it, right? And what we're seeing, the whole point of this 20 minutes here, is that time and time again, that does not perform as well as if I were to go out and say, hey, I have this green tea brand. Even though you have nothing to do with green tea or the demographics we're trying to reach at all, you are an athlete. You get on base. You create content that converts. Can you help me? Can you be on this team and promote this green tea brand? And they will end up doing a better job serving our purpose, which isn't all this underlying KPI stuff. It's what? Scoring runs, it's getting revenue. They will do a better job, the athletes will, than the specialists. And so this is a strategy we're now applying where we are transitioning, not a full transition because we still need to hit some things at the brand level. And we are saying, how do we go unlock athletes, people who are the best creators on TikTok Shop, and get them running with our brands? Now, let me run with the closing point here and then let's get out of here. Because I think I nailed the strategy and probably overdid it with the analogies. If you want to win in this game that is evolving and changing all the time, you have to look at the game differently. And where I have made, not mistakes, but have missed out, opportunity cost, if you will, is what I know becoming a limiting belief. And so you almost have to forget what you know, just look at the data, not to define your own convictions and pre-existing beliefs, which is what we all do. We all fall into that. And you have to understand that that is going to be your natural bias. That's what all humans do, especially marketers. You have to get rid of that, look at it from a pure data perspective. And in this instance, you need to realize that the traditional principles of targeting and going very specific, which there's still a point to do that as well. That is not now serving us the way, looking at it differently as just who is a great athlete, who is great at TikTok Shop. Let's find a way to work with them and let's now educate them on our thing. Even though they're not an expert on it, we can more easily train someone to be an expert on our brand and our demographics than we can to find someone who's an expert into our brand and our demographics and make them great at TikTok Shop. There are only 1,000, maybe 10,000 creators who are amazing at TikTok Shop. There's going to be a significant fight over those people when brands start to wake up and realize this is the strategy that we need to do. We need to work with those people, educate them on the brand, and we need to run with them, because if they're great at this skill, it will inevitably translate for us. If they can do the thing that we're after, we will find a way to translate it to us. But just because they fit our brand doesn't mean they can sell. And training them to sell is going to be infinitely harder than just training them on our brand. And so this is a strategy we've been rolling out past couple months. It's working incredibly well for us. And we'll see how this continues to evolve over time, because I think this pendulum is going to have to switch back at some points. But this is a strategy I highly recommend to all the brands out there, all the agencies to really think about, is athletes versus specialists. So anyway, if you enjoyed the pod, awesome. Let me know. We have a Slack group too, where I'm going to pre-release this. So if any of that is valuable, feel free to join. I'm always here to help, and good luck. Go be an athlete.